So first off, the official first episode. So welcome to Raise Hale, Praise Dale, everybody. So,
Hey, yes.
this is underway. It is. We live. Got myself, Voodoo, one of the co-hosts, and then we got JT Dallas, the other co-host, who originally brought out the podcast, and he had the insight to kind of reach out to me and wanted to get this thing rolling again. So I'm just here to help out. But basically, we talk about everything, mostly NASCAR Cup Series, but we throw a little bit of other racing in, and maybe even
Series,
from time to time.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe even sometimes throwing in some other sports and stuff too.
Yeah.
If you're here for NASCAR, you're in the right spot. Feel free to drop some messages in the chat. We'll try and keep an eye on that and address some of that stuff as it pops up. We may not be able to address everything because we're trying to keep it on the back end. We're trying to keep it about a 30, 45 minute, hour long podcast for when we upload it for people to listen to. It's not them having to take half their day to listen to it. It's gonna be weekly.
I think talking about NASCAR for 5 hours would get a little boring after a minute.
I don't know, because we got watch parties on Sunday. The whole race, baby.
Yeah, but that's a little different, you know.
That's NASCAR for several hours. Maybe not 5.
That's fair. That's fair.
But yeah, so like I mentioned, just feel free to drop into the Twitch chat here. If you're live with us. If you're not live, you're catching us on YouTube, drop some comments below the video. Or if you're on your podcast, we got our email set up, which is listed in the profile. Shoot us an email.
Email us. We've got Twitter or X and Instagram.
Yep.
That's RHPD.podcast. So
yeah, so we got several ways for you guys to reach out to us and give us some ideas for stuff to bring up on future episodes and whatnot as we continue along. For today's episode, though, obviously we got a whole bunch of silly season news to catch up on because we're a little bit behind starting now, but we're gonna get you up to speed. We got our special then and now segment is what we're currently calling it. Could change, could not, who knows. I think we kind of like it right now, and hopefully it'll stick. Essentially, we got a paint scheme from the past that we're going to talk about, as well as a paint scheme from current day.
Yeah.
Just give a little bit of history on both of those as we go through. So, after all that said and done, we got a couple other things we're going to talk about too, but the biggest thing this episode, it's the trend going around right now. I mean, we got to jump on the trend, and that's the way too early playoff predictions. JT's got his list, I got my list. We've obviously talked about them a little bit, but most of our list is about the same, but we got a few drivers that kind of
differ.
We changed up a little bit. So with that being said, let's go ahead and hit that intro.
Roll that intro.
And let's get into talking some Raise Hale, Praise Dale, baby.
Hey.
Yes, sir. Official, man. We're underway now. What I'm talking about, baby.
This is 100 times better than the first one. Already.
We just gotta have some fun, man. Gotta have some fun.
So, hang on a minute.
Now, y'all gotta bear with us because we're trying to do this, and I mean, technically, I got 2 screens, but one of them is to monitor the stream. So really, I only have 1 screen. He's only got 1 screen going. So all of the notes we got, it'll kind of jump around to get to them. But we don't have like a firm outline of what we're going to talk about, but we got kind of an idea of what we are.
Yeah, and another thing is if you guys have any comments or anything about what we're doing, we are always open for improvement. So, if you
Heck
guys
yeah.
see something that you think we could improve on, go ahead and drop us. You know what? At least me personally, I won't take it as being rude, unless you're just being rude.
Right.
But I'm always open for improvement. That's one reason that I did reach out to Voodoo about taking this podcast, because I enjoyed doing it, but it was really hard and if you guys watched it or listened to it before on Spotify and Apple Music, it was rough to say the least. But I was the only one doing it, and I really didn't know what I was doing. It's a little different now. I've actually played around on Twitch. I've played around on different things. I know how to a little bit more than what I did then. It's not just me and a phone recording audio without really editing it. It's not really raw. I mean, if you're watching on Twitch, of course it's gonna be raw. It's live. But YouTube, I mean, you're just getting the VOD from Twitch, but it's a little bit better already. You know, I mean, we've got graphics and stuff like that, and I am already super happy with the way it's already turning out. That being said, I want to point out that there's 27 days. That's my countdown.
And
27 days till the 500. I don't really count the Clash because it doesn't count as points.
I mean, I could run around that track literally. Maybe one time, and then I'd be out of breath.
Oh, I'd
Get around
die,
once.
but 27 days till Daytona. So do with that information what you will.
We're coming to the nitty gritty. I'm looking forward to it too.
Oh yeah.
We got some major changes going on as far as drivers jumping around and manufacturers changing, and then you got new Dark Horse Mustang coming out, new Toyota Camry.
Ooh, did you see the not to jump ahead, but did you see the redesign of the Toyota?
The one that's coming up.
Yeah.
I saw the original outing of it. I don't know if I've seen that. They revamped it a little bit.
Hang on a minute. Let me see. I seen a picture, and I'm hoping it wasn't fan made. But I don't think it was, because I want to say Bob Packus is the one that posted it. Hang on.
I'm looking forward to the races coming up.
Yeah. Hang on. I will. Yeah. So it's on NASCAR. So it's 100%.
Sweet.
I will send it to you on Discord real quick.
I might be able to pop it up on the screen real quick.
Yeah. The new nose to it. I'm really wanting some diecast of this. It wasn't in my notes or anything. I just thought about it. Sorry.
You sending it to me on Discord?
Yeah.
Go ahead and pull that down for now. Save image.
Yeah.
Save it there. And then we're going to switch over to this screen that we do our presentations on. So as you can see, our webcams get a little bit smaller, but gives us...
Yeah, sorry to put you on the spot, Voodoo.
No, you're good. Just gets to... Now, for a moment, this is going to be big. Depending on how big the picture is. Oh, well, not really, because the picture's not that big. Hopefully it's not too grainy when it gets bigger.
I don't think so. You can tell what I'm talking about. So the
It does
front
look a little
of
bit
that,
different.
yeah. So the front, they've redone the airports that, or the air vents that lead to the braking system, because that's what part of the reason what cost Bell the championship last year, is the brakes weren't getting cooled enough. So they've widened that a little bit, and I'm looking forward to see how that one's gonna play.
I can't wait.
And that's straight off the NASCAR website, so it's not like I'm pulling it from a weird source. That's just.
Well, yeah, but Toyota's getting this new Camry here. You got Ford getting the new Dark Horse, but now
Chevy's still stuck on theirs.
Yeah,
because
Chevy's still stuck.
But if their contract or something.
Yeah, they got to figure out what car they're going to replace it with too, because apparently the Camaro's going away.
Oh yeah.
But on top of all these changes, you got it's kind of even across the Cup Series now because you have your three main teams for Chevy, which is what Hendrick, uh,
Uh,
Trackhouse, and Richard Childress. You got those
yeah, and then
three,
you got
and then
your Ford,
Ford,
which is
you got Penske. Uh,
uh,
who else?
crap.
No, there's two other ones.
Crap.
I don't care about
Yeah,
Fords.
I'm trying to think.
Uh,
It's like right there. Stuart Haas.
Yeah.
And who's that? I don't even remember the third one. And then you only had two Toyota teams.
Yeah, you had
Or main teams.
yeah, which is JGR and 2311. But now
Yeah.
you got
Which isn't 2311 just a sub team of JGR?
technically, yeah. So
That's what I was thinking.
but with that being said, so 2311 still getting their support mostly the direction of JGR's route. But Legacy
Yeah.
jumping over to Toyota, they're getting direct from Toyota. They're not under anybody else. They're an independent team. So
at the same time, I also understand where Chevy could not have, give the resources that they've given the other three. I get it, but I am looking forward to so many Legacy wins this season, hopefully.
hopefully, old JJ pulls out one.
Oh,
See?
yeah. That's the one I'm really wanting to win. I mean, Eric, I think he'll hopefully.
I think he's going to be the anchor.
Comeback. I hope Eric's going to be the comeback. I hope Nemechek for his rookie year has like a great rookie year. I'm not. What's the word I'm looking for here? I'm not expecting a lot from Nemechek, but at the same time, with these new cars, there's not going to be. Which, I mean, there's going to be an adjustment period, but there's not going to be as heavy as one as, like, Eric, if that makes sense, because he went from, like, Chevy to Toyota. But.
Well, you say you don't have super high expectations for Nemechek, but I'm going to say that boy better get doggone Rookie of the Year.
I agree. Okay, I'm saying, yeah, I agree. I also am hoping that Legacy has such a good year and Jimmy gets at least 2 wins. So he might run another full season. That's my hope.
Dude, if we can get JJ to run a full year, I don't know what I would do.
I
really don't know what I would do.
If Johnson runs next year, me and you've got to go to Talladega.
We got to figure out what races he's going to and plan one of those races. Like,
I know.
Last year was kind of rough on him because he only technically had 5 races that he announced. But then he had that tragedy.
3 starts.
He got wrecked out at Daytona. And then that tragedy came up, which pretty much canceled Chicago. And then he kind of postponed everything after that. Like he didn't really run anything after that. So he didn't get his 5 races in like he expected to. But this season, like right now, we got 9.
Yeah. And that's what's announced. If he does really good in this season, I feel like last year was kind of like a touch and go basis just because, he had bought into GMS. Like, it was after the season started, wasn't it? He had already bought into GMS.
It was roughly right about halfway through.
Yeah. So he didn't really have enough time and like all the resources, especially with Chevy shutting down. Not shutting down, but
they had absolutely no support from
Yeah.
Chevy. Yeah.
So I mean, it just kind of fell in his lap, and then plus that family tragedy, and I seen where he was coming from at the same time. I really hope this year is like a good year. He's had time to run the car. He's had,
Mm-hmm.
So
I think Legacy is going to be a competitive team this season just because they're getting this Tier 1 support from Toyota. You got Matt Kenseth on board now. You got a solid driver in Nemechek jumping up. Jones is already solid even with no support from Chevy, so now he's getting direct help. I think it's going to boost up a whole lot.
Did he have Jones didn't have a win last year.
Yeah, he did. Darlington.
What did he? The Spring Darlington race.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. Okay, because I was like, no, because Because I was at Darlington and Larson, and then it clicked. I'm there for it now. I got
They
it.
go twice.
Yeah. But yeah, he even with that tier 3 support, as that CEO of Legacy said, I forget his name, but you know, he went on to win Darlington, which I think some of the things in that race did play into his win a little bit, but at the same time, he did pull it off. It doesn't matter if you're last on the lap right before the last one. It's whoever crosses the finish line first on that last lap. So,
yeah.
But anywho,
I'm definitely looking forward to it. But since we're talking about Legacy, we can't forget about Friday's news here. We got to bring that up.
Oh yeah. You know, we went to Jimmy got inducted into the Hall of Fame with Chad Knaus and Donnie Allison. So me and you watched it live. I got to watch the red carpet. But before all that, right after he had been right after it had been announced that he was being up for the induction, I don't even know what you say. I'm terrible with words.
Put on the ballot.
Yeah, thank you. When he was put on the ballot, we got to go to the Hall of Fame this year.
He did, not me.
Yeah, I did.
He likes to rub it in.
I do, just because I got to see I got to see the car that they had on display, which I sent him pictures. I got to see all his fire suits throughout the years, which I sent him pictures. They even had the 2002 or 3, I think it was the 2003 Power of Pride car. Yeah, because it didn't have the rookie stripes. Yeah, so it had the 2003 Power of Pride. It had the Ally car that he won his 2016 championship in. It had his fire suits, a couple of his trophies. I mean, you could tell he was getting in even before the ballot was out, just by all the stuff that they had out. Which, I mean, for a 7-time champion, he should have gotten it anyway.
Yeah, him and Knaus are pretty much a shoe-in, just based off of the success they had when they were going.
Well, I mean, 5 years back, I mean, that's the unheard of part, you know?
Yeah, the 5 years back now, that's never going to happen again. If it does, it'll be a miracle.
Yeah, which they said about it with Jimmy. They said it shouldn't have happened in the first place.
Yeah.
But it did.
Well, the thing about him, too, is, yeah, he had 7 championships. Big deal. You have 2 other people that had 7 champions, too, and Petty and Earnhardt. So, I mean...
Yeah.
Technically, it could be done, but they weren't back-to-back. But the other thing is, they changed point systems throughout that time, and he kept adapting. So just
not only that, but also I feel like just by what you've heard of all that from the past drivers is, I feel like a lot of the older drivers, like of course Dale Earnhardt Sr. and Richard Petty, could get away with a lot more bending rules than Jimmy could. I mean, you get what I'm saying? It's like one of Petty's famous quotes. I only am claiming 440. And that, I mean, because I feel like you could get away with a lot. It wasn't like, at least in like the early 2000s and stuff, where they would literally break your car down if you won, and they would weigh it. And if you know, I mean, if you read Kyle Petty's book, I don't even remember the title. It came out not too long ago. Anyway, he talks about he won a race and they broke his car down and they found weight like that. They found that his car wasn't up to weight, where they had, you know, less in the weight.
Yeah.
So it'd go faster. So, but I feel like Johnson couldn't get away with as much.
I don't know how people do that, like figure out the cars and stuff like that. I would think that less weight would result in less downforce, which would lose some speed. But hey, that's why I'm sitting over here on this side of the microphone, out there making money. building cars.
But
and
at the
stuff.
same time, if your front end is made to push down, it doesn't matter how much weight you have. The air will push you down.
Mhm.
You're just loosening that resistance of it's got to haul this much. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
I guess I guess it's like if you put a fat guy up next to a tiny guy and tell him to run a mile, who's going to get finished first?
Depends. Maybe I'll trip and push down a skinny guy and start running.
Well, that's fair. but anyway, back to the
all
Hall of
7
Fame.
times, yeah.
So him and Chad Knaus got inducted. They had a very touching speech.
Families were up on stage to give them their rings. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I was waiting for Knaus's daughter to push over the podium.
That was funny. I saw that thing shaking the whole time.
Oh yeah. And then he had his famous milk and cookies meeting after.
Yeah, and they looked good too.
Oh yeah. And then when Jimmy got up, you could tell there was a lot of emotion in Chad's eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure I saw some in Hendrick's eyes too.
Oh yeah. And then of course Donnie Allison, which was the last of the Alabama gang to get inducted. I'm gonna say this: I have nothing against Donnie Allison, and I could tell he knew a lot of what he was talking about, especially like the older days.
Mm-hmm.
But that dude could talk.
Yeah, he was long-winded. He told what, at least 4 or 5 different stories while he was up there.
Oh yeah. But I don't know. I think that's like a root of NASCAR. You know what I mean? You had a bunch of old men sitting in there talking about, oh, I did this and I did that. And,
It paved the way for the rest of them.
oh yeah. And then you also had Janet Guthrie's award. Yeah. And,
First female driver to qualify for the Indy 500.
the only female driver
Well,
to qualify
for
the Indy.
first one too.
Yeah.
She's the only one.
First and only. But
that's pretty cool to see her get honored up there too. I'm sure even with her not being technically in the Hall of Fame, I'm sure they got something up there for her since she's got that award now.
Oh yeah, they had one up. Speaking, I'm trying to remember. They had. I don't think it was hers. It might have been, but they had a car up there that they said was one of the founding ladies of NASCAR. And I don't know if it was hers. But yeah, I enjoyed her speech. I enjoyed watching it. I definitely am, speaking of, not to slightly change the subject, but seeing her makes me kind of glad that there are some women in the sport. You know what I mean?
Well, you got Hale Deegan moving up to Xfinity Series this season.
That's what I was gonna say. Hale Deegan's moving up. You know, you got a couple in the ARCA series that are looking to come into the truck series.
We got still got a couple in the truck series, don't we?
Yeah. I'm excited to see the Cup kind of diverse just a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it'd be cool to get a skilled lady up there in the Cup series.
That's my worry though, because I mean, honestly, I think Deegan is okay driver. I think she's an okay driver.
She's still young
You know
too,
what I mean?
though.
That's what I was gonna get at. I was gonna say I hope like as she goes in Xfinity and kind of grows, I hope that she actually gets that skill that makes her a great driver. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I would love to have a scheme that is a championship driver that, you know what I mean, of hers. And I'm not a huge Deegan fan, but at the same time, I like following her career. Yeah.
Yeah. The thing about her, I think, that makes her a little more likable, not just because she's a female. She's really marketable. Like, she reaches out. Like, I always see stuff on Instagram and all that stuff from posts from her specifically. Like, she's got a YouTube channel that she posts to frequently. Just has like, she talks about racing, but then she also has like everyday life stuff going on. So she keeps in touch with her fan base, which I think is really cool because you don't see a lot of drivers that are doing that right now.
Yeah.
I mean, Matty D did it for a little bit, but then he just kind of fell off the wagon. I'm hoping he lands a 24 ride, but
Did you see where he put out a thing? I don't know if you've seen it. I think it was yesterday where he was talking about his post on Twitter, how they ended up not getting the sponsor.
yeah, he had posted that pin emoji, which Eric Estep pointed this out. First place I saw it on his YouTube channel was he posted that pin emoji like he had a contract under wraps already, and then he comes out with that video saying, "Well, it fell through." And
well, you know, Gregson started that when he joined Legacy.
mm-hmm.
So
now he's over there driving the old Stewart Haas.
Oh. Man, there was another female. Sorry, I'm going back to the female, but there was another female driver that caught my eye. I think she's in the truck series, but I can't find her now.
There's a brand new one that's coming up. I want to say she's maybe barely 18 or something, but she seemed like there was a lot of hype behind her. But she wasn't. I don't think she was in the trucks yet. I might have to look her up for next week.
Yeah,
I got too many tabs open and trying to search for anything else right now.
I know. I'm over here searching and it is just not working.
Yeah. While you're looking up that, going back to Jimmy, like we mentioned before, he's got 9 races that are currently announced. I'm thinking with that Gear Wrench sponsorship, we might get another 1 or 2 out of them. Hope.
Number 10.
Yeah.
That would be pretty cool.
Obviously, you got Carvana returning
a
few races, but you also got Advent Health, which is, I think, going to be the primary sponsor for Jones. That's going to hop over and sponsor a few races for Jimmy. And then also the new announcement, the big announcement, other than Gear Wrench. Gear Wrench is technically the newest announcement for their sponsorships. But I think the big one is the Family Dollar Tree sponsorship that's coming too. I think that's going to be pretty cool. I'm ready to see what those schemes look like. And just off of that post that they put up of like their race suits, it looks like Jimmy's cars are going to represent both of them.
Split. Yeah.
I think that's going to be really awesome. Like, I'm ready to add some more diecast back here for these upcoming schemes.
Oh yeah.
But,
my wife is not ready.
My pocketbook's not ready. I'm ready, but my wallet's not. But just to mention the races here. Obviously, his first one coming back. Let's see if I can get these pulled up. So I can have them next to each other. I'm a little funky right now, trying to get both notes up. There we go.
Bringer is who I was thinking of.
That name does not ring a bell.
She's an ARCA.
Okay. See, I need to start following the lower series a little bit more, because there's some good drivers that are down there that just haven't caught their chance yet.
Yeah. But yeah, I seen a article about her here a while back, and apparently she's doing pretty decent. I want to say ARCA.
You like
truck? She moved to truck.
You like a slightly, I guess you could say, like a Middle Eastern looking.
Yeah, possibly.
That might be the girl I was talking about. Then she's pretty young.
She's Lebanese and German.
It's definitely over that way.
Yep. But yeah, I guess she's moved to trucks. I could be wrong.
I didn't think she was moving up yet. Thank you, man.
I don't know. She might have just been testing.
Yeah. So going back to Jimmy here.
I'm sorry, I'm getting derailed.
You're good. You're good. I just don't want to have the first episode be too long, you know.
Oh yeah, she's racing the #1 truck.
Really? All right, I'm gonna have to look out for it.
Anyway,
Do you have any sponsors announced yet?
Hang on a minute. I'm trying to see. Victoria's Secret.
Okay.
That's not what I expected, but hey. And Cane's, it looks like. Victoria's Secret, which I think Cane's is her.
The chicken fingers?
Yeah. Like Raising Cane's?
Yeah. I didn't know they were sponsoring the NASCAR. That's good to know.
At least the ARCA series.
Gotta start somewhere. Those cars are probably a lot cheaper to sponsor than a Cup Series car.
Oh, definitely. Anyway.
Yeah. So, off of her and back to Jimmy. Dang it. So he's starting off with the Daytona 500 again, and hopefully he lasts a whole lot more laps than he did last year.
27 days.
Yeah. 27 days. February 18th, people. He's gonna have another Carvana scheme. They haven't announced any of these schemes yet for him.
Except for the Carvana, yeah. Which...
Well, is the Carvana gonna be the same scheme, or are they changing it up?
I don't know. I'm just... Did they announce the, which races, Dollar Tree and all that's...
Yeah, that's what we're gonna go over. So
Oh.
Daytona 500 is gonna be the Carvana. I don't know if they're gonna have the same scheme as last season or not. They'll change it up. I'm hoping they change it up a little bit. Just get another diecast. So that's his first race announcement there.
What was that one? It wasn't Carvana. It was the other one that he was gonna run but didn't.
Wyndham Resorts. You
Yeah,
talking about the Chicago race?
Yeah, the Club Wyndham.
Club Wyndham. That's it. Yeah, the patriotic kind of scheme that he had going on.
Yep, that's one I need.
Yeah. I don't know if they're gonna have. Do they have diecast that available? It's never ran.
I've seen them.
I figured it would be a limited amount.
Lionel had them.
I might have to look that up and see. Yeah, so Daytona 500. I'm hoping he can help push old Jones in the Advent Health car. And I'm thinking Gear Wrench was a primary sponsor for Harvick for a couple races. I'm thinking they're gonna wind up being maybe having a couple races for Nemechek. That's
what I was thinking.
But
either
they haven't announced any.
Jones.
Yeah. And I don't know if Advent Health is gonna be like a full-time sponsor for Jones or not, or if they're just doing a few races.
But I know I seen on their Facebook, Legacy's Facebook, they posted Jones's helmet that was Advent Health.
Yeah,
so
and his car's already been posted.
Primary. Yeah, I'm assuming that's gonna be his primary.
That's what I'm thinking.
Maybe Gear Wrench will be Nemechek's primary.
Could be. I don't know how much they're going for. We could see some more sponsors rolling through too, because Dollar Tree, Family Dollar, Advent Health coming from Trackhouse, and then you got Gear Wrench coming from Stuart Haas. Like, we're pulling some sponsors.
Oh yeah.
So Jimmy's next race after Daytona 500 is going to be Texas. She's running an Advent Health scheme. I don't know if it's going to be the same scheme that Jones is running, or if Jimmy's going to have his own.
I'm assuming it's going to be different.
I'm hoping so. But I think that's going to be kind of nice.
Yeah. That'd be cool. After Texas, you got Dover, which that's when they're running their Dollar Tree / Family Dollar. And
yeah,
I'm wondering when they run those, if it'll be, Nemechek and Dollar Tree, Jones and Family Dollar, and then Johnson split up the middle, like their fire suits were.
Well, if I understood correctly on the Dollar Tree Family Dollar one, is there's all, for each of the, 38 races, if you include the All-Star race and the Clash, for each one of the races, at least one legacy car will have either Dollar Tree, Family Dollar, or a split of the two.
So my question is, will Jones and Nemechek go back and forth on them, or will one be like, one like name and check specifically Dollar Tree or
Yeah,
somebody.
I see they haven't gotten that descriptive yet. Phone call coming in.
Yeah.
So tell work they got a week.
I was gonna say, let me take this real quick because it is my boss.
You're good. All right, so we'll keep covering up some stuff here. So yeah, like you mentioned, Dover is gonna be the Dollar Tree Family Dollar scheme. For those here on Twitch, we got an ad break going on, just so you know. If you're on YouTube or the podcast stream, you don't have to worry about that ad. Anyways, so Dollar Tree Family Dollar. Each race they're gonna have one legacy car with one or the both of those. Now I think Nemechek and Jones are gonna be splitting to where one will be Dollar Tree, one will be Family Dollar. But I think Jimmy's gonna have both. That's gonna be awesome. I'm definitely looking forward to it. Kansas, the first Kansas that he's going to is gonna be Advent Health again. Probably will wind up being the same scheme that he runs in Texas. But after Kansas,
Ooh, it's gonna be loud in here. I hate to tell you. Here in a little bit. My children are deciding to come home.
all right. Well, hopefully we can get through some of this before it gets crazy.
Oh, yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, Kansas, he's going to be running Advent Health again, and I'm pretty sure it's just going to wind up being the same scheme as Texas. But
Yeah, that'd be
the Coca-Cola 600, I think it's Advent Health again, but I feel like it's going to be some sort of patriotic scheme. I know it's in May, but I think because he's not running during like July 4th or anything like that, he's gonna have a patriotic scheme with the Coca-Cola 600. Could be wrong, but who knows?
I don't know. I could see it going either way. I could either see it being just a different Advent Health scheme or patriotic.
I would love to see a patriotic Advent Health scheme. That would be awesome.
You and me both. Either that or he could wait till Indy, which is the next race that he's doing.
Yeah, but that's gonna be Carvana on that one. So,
but it could still be a patriotic.
It could be a patriotic Carvana scheme for sure.
Yeah. But
either way, I want to see.
Honestly,
I want to see a patriotic scheme.
I agree with you. I would love to see it patriotic, but I could see Indy being more patriotic because it's in July.
Yeah,
it's July 21st,
and it's what is it, like the 40th anniversary of the original run there? So it's gonna be a big time race there.
Oh,
and I mean, he's won a few times. Just saying.
No, the one that I'm really looking forward to him being in is Dover. Let's see if he can make that number 11 and number 12.
Yeah, I'm hoping he can be up towards the front that whole race. Yeah. After Indianapolis, you got him going back to Kansas, but this time instead of Advent Health, he's gonna have another Dollar Tree Family Dollar scheme. Probably will wind up being the same as Dover. I would think.
Yep.
I would think.
I wish he would be heading to Nashville.
that would be nice because we will be at Nashville. For those listeners that are wanting to meet up, because we big super popular people. But
oh yeah.
If you want to meet up, we will be at Nashville for the Sunday Cup race. So
definitely
might be able to set something up there. After Kansas, he's going to Las Vegas. He'll be in the Dollar Tree Family Dollar again.
Oh, I guarantee you that'll be like a Halloween scheme.
That would be awesome.
I would love to have like a Dollar Tree Family Dollar Halloween scheme. Just because it's October 20th.
It's right there up against Halloween for sure. That would be awesome.
Oh yeah.
And then he's going to the championship race. Unfortunately, not racing for his 8th championship. The Carvana scheme. That'd be cool. Now, like we mentioned before, that's 9 races that he's officially announced. but they added Gear Wrench as a sponsor, and they haven't named whose car it's going to be on or how many races it's going to be for. So I'm hoping
fingers crossed there might be one more.
I'm hoping maybe he runs a Gear Wrench scheme in Nashville. Just saying.
Oh yeah. I would love to. Well, now that we've ran through their sponsors and everything, you want to go through all of the trades and changes.
Oh, all the silly season stuff. Yeah. So
yeah, because
this is gonna be fun.
There's a bunch of them.
It's gonna be fun. Yeah,
Okay.
We're already at like 50 minutes.
Oh yeah. Number 1, of course, Harvick retired, leaving the number 4 open. Stuart Haas has put Josh Berry in. I don't know if when I went to the Hall of Fame, I had found the 164th throwback, 29. You know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
That he ran in Darlington, and it is still one of my favorite cars that I have. That's newer. That's not Johnson.
Yeah, I have to admit that scheme is slick.
Oh yeah,
sure.
So especially on that new Ford Mustang, it equated well. Or it
Well,
changed,
that,
you know what I mean?
That's the old Ford Mustang. You got a new one coming out.
Well, you know what I mean. The next gen Ford Mustang. Is that better? That scheme moved over well.
Yeah. Now, what I'm looking forward to is seeing that Sunny D number 4 on the racetrack.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Pulling that from the 17 over. Buddy.
You know what I'm excited to see? And a lot of people disagree with me. I'm kind of excited to see Gregson back on track.
I am too. I think I'm looking at Noah Gregson the same way that Kyle Larson wound up in his situation. He slipped up in big time.
Yeah.
He wound up coming back with Hendrick and running with it. Like, he got his second chance and he ran with that joker. I'm thinking Gregson's I don't think he's gonna have as much success as Larson did, but I think he's gonna have a bounce back season this year. And that number 10 car, it's gonna be amazing.
Oh, yeah. I'm not a Larson fan, but you have to admit, you put Larson behind the wheel of anything and he can drive it.
Yeah.
I mean,
and he can flip
the
it
dude.
too.
I was about to say, the dude was in Mexico, flew all the way out here to Tulsa, ran the Chili Bowl, didn't make the main event, but went back to New Mexico and ran the B mods out there.
Mm-hmm.
That's nuts. Oh, so I live about 45 minutes from Tulsa, and I know a lot of the people that race around here, and I don't know if it was made public or whatever, but I had heard that when he flew out here, he forgot his fire suit and helmet in New Mexico, and he paid for a dude's ticket just to bring his fire suit and helmet all the way out here. And I was like, how do you leave for a race without the main things that you need? It just cracked me up. But anyway, that's my story.
I'm looking forward to seeing that 10. I want to say they've announced at least one sponsor for him too. I don't remember who it was. It's not going to be Wendy's because Wendy's was jumped
Wendy's
ship.
moved over to
I thought Wendy's was going to stick with him.
I did too, but then they moved over to Chastain.
Well, they moved over to
they
moved over to Trackhouse. Yeah, not Chastain specifically. That Bush scheme, that Bush Light scheme that Chastain's got, that is nice looking. I hate to say it, but I think it looks better than Harvick's.
Oh yeah, honestly, I think that scheme was made more for, like, as far as body wise, for a Chevy.
Yeah.
Like, the Chevys to me are a little bit wider on the sides, and it just fills it out nice. It's a good scheme. One of my favorite schemes, I hope, and my really good sponsor, I hope that gets brought in, is with Kaz Garla or Gralla. Gralla. It's about to get loud. I hate to tell you. I can hear him at the door.
It's all good. Forgive us, podcast listeners.
Yeah, it's about to get loud. Anyway, you know, Rick Ware Racing said that he would be racing for 25 races, and I hope he brings a pit viper.
Oh,
with Rick Ware.
yeah.
I like that blue with like the rainbow splatter. It's a top tier scheme. Thank you.
So, in addition to those 25 races,
thank you.
That Cosgrove will be there. Cody Ware is going to be dumped into a few races in that 15 as well. So that's going to be it's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
So the 16, I thought Ty Dillon was going to be getting the 16.
Justin Haley. Speaking of Rick Ware Racing, did you see that Justin Haley got their new crew chief out? Or got a new? He's getting a new crew chief because he got traded to where was he at for? He was what team was that?
Justin Haley left 31 team.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember what team it was specifically, but anyway, he got traded to Rick Ware, and he's going to be racing the number 51.
Yep.
But he's also got a pretty good crew chief lined up for him. Chase Lawson, which was Zane Smith's crew chief when he won the 2022 season in trucks. Okay. So he's got a crew chief that's got at least a championship behind him.
That's gonna be good to watch too. Yeah.
Yeah,
Didn't Justin Haley mention that getting this move over to Rick Ware, you feel like it was a step in the right direction for his career too?
I think so. I think a lot of Haley's problem was he just didn't have the equipment to keep up, and I think Rick Ware has a little bit more resources than that last team. I'm trying to remember what team that was. Was it Colleague?
Yep. No, was it Colleague? Maybe.
I don't know, because I know Colleague moved down to... No, because Colleague ran Allmendinger.
Yeah, it was the number 31, whatever team number 31 belongs to. I'm not sure off the top of my head.
But anyway.
Yeah. While you're looking at it, number 16, I thought it was going to be Ty Dillon's ride, but it turns out Ty Dillon's going to be full-time in trucks. And
I hadn't heard that one.
Yeah. But on top of that, they announced Allmendinger is supposed to be out of the 16, but they announced he's going to run the 16 at the Daytona 500. So I'm real confused now because he's supposed to be full-time Xfinity. So
maybe it was just that one race.
And then, as you mentioned, the 31, Justin Haley's out because he's over to Rick Ware, but Daniel Hemrick is taking his spot in that 31. That'd be kind of cool to look at.
Yeah.
Number 42. Number 42. Yeah. JHN, baby. Ready to see him do his dirty work there. Yeah. And the 51 is what we're talking about now, with Justin Haley stepping in for that one.
Yeah, it was Colleague.
Okay.
And, you know, Colleague stepped down. Of course, the Dinger wasn't a full season. He was just part season.
Yeah. So, but I thought since he was going full-time Xfinity, he wouldn't even race the Cup, really. But that's wrong.
I think the only one he's doing is the 500, isn't it?
That's all they've announced so far, yeah. But they haven't announced any other races for that 16 yet. Like
I know that they said that they were looking. There was rumors of them looking to sell there for a minute. No. Was that Colleague? I'm getting my teams mixed up.
Yeah. I think Colleague was the one that came out and said that they were not selling.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. There were rumors, and then they said they weren't selling. They were just pushing back to Xfinity, and they were going to run Xfinity this year, not Cup.
Yeah,
they were going to keep the charter, but they weren't going to run as many.
They may just have a carousel of drivers coming through there then.
Yeah. But
yeah, so Justin.
And then sorry. Yeah, Justin's gonna be running the 51, and Kaz is gonna be running the 15. So
yeah. Next big one, I think, is cool that he's stepping in. I mean, it's not gonna be full time, but the number 60, David Reagan's back, baby.
Oh, okay, yeah. Raven
That's
had
gonna
some
be
pretty
nice.
top tier schemes.
And then right now, you got the 62
Ooh,
announced for 2 races.
Yeah, I was gonna say. So one of my buddies, that was his driver. Alfredo.
Mhm.
I'm looking forward to that one.
I don't think he's gonna have success like SVG did when he jumped in, but
No, I don't think so either.
I think he'll be top 15.
Isn't SVG running the 500 as well?
Yeah, I believe so.
That's what I was thinking. I know he signed a contract with them, and there's rumors of like a Red Bull sponsorship.
Now yeah, I saw the pictures of that too. Now the thing is with the Daytona 500, I don't know why they did this. I guess I could see they capped the field at 40. There's only 36 charters, so that means there's 4 open spots for people to qualify, which I think at this moment we're over that 4 driver open threshold. So that means there's gonna be somebody going home, not in the race, unfortunately.
I'm honestly thinking it's gonna be some like the smaller teams.
Yeah.
Like as far as like look at colleague and stuff like that. I don't know if they qualify for it.
You gotta see what's going on because you got your duels that are gonna be on that Thursday night before the race. But I'm gonna have to watch closer for those.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, Anthony Alfredo will be in the 62 for the 500 and for the Spring Talladega race. I know. I want to say there's supposed to be 2 more races that 62 is going to run, but I don't think they've announced a driver or what tracks it's going to be yet.
I don't think they have either. And then you got Smith in the 71.
Yeah. And then 77 was old Ty Dillon's ride last season, but he's gone because he's dropping back down to the trucks, I believe.
Or is it? I thought he was dropping to Xfinity.
Allmendinger's dropping down to Xfinity, but I think Dillon is dropping down to trucks.
You're right. You're right.
But old Phenom, I liked him last year when he got his little hot seat rides. Carson Hocevar jumping into the 77. I think that's gonna be awesome too.
I think he did pretty good for being somebody that was kind of forced up into it. Well, not really forced, but you know what I mean. As far as for Gregson, I don't think he did too bad.
That's most of your drivers jumping around there. I'm looking forward to some of these guys showing what they can prove on track. But let's talk about the sponsorship changes. They are moving all over the place. So Busch Beer was obviously Harvick's, but now it belongs to Chastain.
Yep.
That number 1 car, and that sucker looks amazing.
Can we get a picture of that up real quick? Because it does look so good. Let me see if I can't find it.
On top of that, that's what we should have done when we were announcing these sponsors. Well, they don't have all of them. They don't have all of them. All those schemes.
They just have them announce what they're gonna be.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
So sticking to Trackhouse while you're looking that up.
Dang, they've already got like koozies and stuff on NASCAR.com.
That doesn't surprise me. SVG is gonna have WeatherTech, which I think is gonna be his 500 scheme, if I'm not mistaken. Then you got Raikkonen, that I don't think officially has been announced yet, but he's supposed to be running a Wendy's scheme at some point.
Well, that's hang on a minute. I'm trying to find the real one because there's a lot of fan-made ones.
Yeah, we'll get that pulled up here in a second. Jumping over Stuart Haas before Josh Berry, baby. Got old Berry looked good in that 48.
He didn't look bad.
But he's got Sunny D, which that scheme, I love orange, and that scheme looks good. And then he's got Harrison's coming on board too.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm a sucker for a Sunny D scheme. They have some pretty dang good ones.
Yeah, I don't know what it is about that orange and blue that they blend together, but it looks amazing.
I'm trying to find one of there it is. Okay, hang on. I'm sending you the image.
Yep, I see the image you sent of that is the girl I was talking about.
Yeah. For what?
I just need to get her some Tylenol. You did it last time. I don't know where it's at or anything.
Yeah.
Literally 2 seconds.
Give me like 2 seconds. Sorry, Voodoo. I gotta
Good.
get.
I'm just
my
gonna flip
children's
over
medicine.
and bring up this. Gonna change this scheme to the one we talking about. Break it up. So give me a second. Look at that beautiful bush light scheme there. It has more white in the scheme, which makes it pop a little more than it did on Harvick's. And then obviously the chrome number there is going to be amazing. I think that's going to be awesome. I'll leave that up for JT to comment on it when he gets back. Then you jump over to Richard Childress. Kyle Busch has 3 new sponsors, which I understand correctly, his anchor sponsor is going to be the Zone Premium nicotine pouches, which I imagine that's probably going to be a pretty cool thing. You got Global Industrial, which has kind of got like a patriotic vibe going on. Then you got the Rebel Bourbon coming up. Again, Eric Estep is probably one of my primary guys that I follow based on the news and stuff, but Kyle Busch went from the little kid-friendly M&Ms and Snickers and Skittles, and now he got all this 21 plus sponsorship going on. So that's definitely a change. Yeah, yeah, that's one way to put it. I got that scheme pulled up for when you get back if you want to comment on it. And then jumping over to Penske, the number 22 with Logano has got Hunt Brothers Pizza this season. That I think is going to be cool to see on a Logano car.
Okay, sorry about that.
Will you let me hand it in for me?
Got
Where
that
am I
nice
now?
little scheme pulled up for you.
Hey, right up.
Oh yeah.
Your magnet car.
So
I don't know
that-
what it is about that white. It just makes it pop more
that's
than
what I
it
was
did
about
on
to say.
his.
It's like the only thing that I could see that would like make it just over the edge, and I'm a sucker for it when Sterling Marlin ran it, is if instead of white they had chrome.
Now the number I
Nice.
think is going to be that reflective
The
chrome
number
still.
looks chrome right there, and it does look really good. But if they made like some of the background chrome with the mountains and everything, like their can, or no, I'm thinking of Coors Light. So maybe that's why they don't do it.
different beer there, buddy.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing the Hunt Brothers Pizza
I'm dead.
logo on
Oh yeah.
Logano. Unfortunately,
I'm really looking forward to seeing the bourbon.
you know that I'm pretty sure they released that paint
They
scheme
released
already.
it. Oh,
Okay.
they did, and what I'm saying is
And the
I'm
Global
looking forward
Industrial
for it
thing.
on the
Oh,
track.
on track, yeah. I haven't seen the Zone Premium nicotine pouches yet, which that's
I
supposed to
don't
be
know
his
if
anchor scheme. That'll be like most of the races will be that one.
Yeah.
But,
Let's see if they've released it, but yeah, hey Craig, I guess I don't even know what that sponsor was, but the Kyle Busch's sponsor, that like 3Chi or whatever it is, I think that's what it
yeah,
was.
they're gone. I don't think they're
They
gonna come back.
quit. Yeah, no, they didn't. They haven't really. Oh, they might have. Oh no, that's just a fan made one. Never mind. Sorry, I thought I found it. But yeah, I'm looking forward to some of these. Like, I'm really looking forward to the Sunny D skin.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm a sucker for Sunny D's. I'm really
Unfortunately.
looking.
Go ahead.
I'm really looking forward to the Death Wish scheme.
Oh yeah.
That is.
We ain't get down
that is
there
my-
yet.
Sorry.
Jumping ahead, man. Yeah, but I'm looking at that one. They've sponsored a car before, I want to say, and it looked pretty doggone slick.
Oh yeah, because it was black and had like the red writing with the Death Wish logo on it. Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
remember whose car it was, but I can see it in my head.
Yeah.
But have you ever drank Death Wish?
No, I'm not a
sponsored.
coffee
Would
fan.
love a sponsor.
I'm not a
Not-
coffee guy. I'm not a coffee guy. I get my caffeine from Debbie.
Yeah. I'm a half coffee guy. You know what I mean? I love freaking energy drinks.
I can't stand the smell
like-
of it, and I can't stand the taste of it. I don't know what it is.
Well, I get really bad kidney stones, so I can't drink energy drinks all the time.
Well, the benefit
so-
of W is it's a natural energy drink. It doesn't have all the added crap in it.
Are you done with your plug?
Maybe.
Because it's my turn to plug it. That's what I'm drinking now. But like especially in cold mornings, I would get up and it's like all I want is a cup of coffee. And I bought some Death Wish here recently. It is some of the best coffee I've ever had. And I'm not saying that just to say it. Like, it is my legit favorite.
I would have to probably drown it in some flavored creamers or something.
See, but that's the difference between me and you. I can't stand creamer.
Can't stand coffee.
I can't do it. we're too opposite. I have to be in like a really big mood to get creamer. And if I have creamer, it has to be like an iced coffee. I cannot do hot coffee with creamer. Does not work.
Anyway, back to the schemes.
Uh,
I'm looking forward to this scheme, even though I hate that it's no longer part of Legacy Motor Club. But the Air Force scheme is always nice. And unfortunately, it's going to 2311 and Bubba Wallace. But
I'm gonna say this: I am not a Wallace fan. And it's not just because he's the only African American driver that is not it at all. It's the way he carries himself. He whines all the time.
He reminds me of prepubescent Kyle Busch.
That's a good representation. I hate the way he carries himself. I hate the way he takes no responsibility. And when he does, it's in like a whining tone. Like when he said, "Oh, I just need to be replaced." I think if I was the owner of a team and my driver, didn't do so hot, and he's in an interview and tells me that, he's gone next week.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and that's just the way I look at it. I mean, I know they have contracts and stuff, but he definitely wouldn't be back this year. Which he did make playoffs and all that, but it wasn't from a win. It was just
we'll get to the playoff predictions here in a minute.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert, he's not on my list.
He's not on mine either.
Now,
but, I mean, it's just one of those things that
it's Bubba.
It is what it is. It's Bubba. Everybody knows Bubbles.
Yep. Now this next one you sent me, I didn't notice. You caught this next one, the Margaritaville at Sea scheme for McDowell.
Yes.
That thing is pretty.
I'm gonna have to get one.
That thing is pretty. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh yeah.
And you got Legacy Motor Club. Obviously, John Hunter Nemechek, Jones, and Jimmy Johnson are all gonna have Dollar Tree Family Dollar scheme at some point. But then
Advent
Jimmy
Health.
Johnson is gonna have Advent Health and Carvana, which Carvana's not a new sponsor for him. But Jones is gonna have
I was
Advent
gonna
Health
say
as well.
Jones is gonna have Advent Health too. I wonder if Advent Health is gonna be like Jones's main sponsor.
I got a feeling it's probably what's gonna be, and like you mentioned earlier, I think Gear Wrench is probably gonna be Nemechek's primary.
Yeah. This next one that we've got down, I'm looking forward to seeing some of it. Zane Smith's WeatherTech.
I wonder if it's gonna be something similar to SVG's scheme or not, because they're both gonna have WeatherTech, but it's obviously gonna be different races.
Oh yeah. And then you've got David Reagan's Build Submarines. I'm wondering if this is going to be another.
I got a feeling it's gonna look similar to what it was last.
I mean, don't get me wrong, it was a nice scheme. I really liked it. It's just,
Yeah.
And then they got the beard oil.
There's
Alfredo. He's running the Death Wish.
there's your Death Wish.
I'm gonna have to get. There's a few schemes in there that if they pull it off right, I'm gonna have to get them. But yeah, so that covers the schemes.
Do we want to jump into the Flash news, or do we want to jump to our then and now segment real quick?
Let's go ahead and cover the Clash news, and then we'll do then and now, and then we'll jump on to our predictions. Sound good?
Yeah, that sounds good to me. I got the little image pulled up for the Clash.
I know there was a lot of NASCAR got a lot of backlash because their original plan was, so if you didn't hear, they were gonna run at the Clash Coliseum in Las Vegas or Los Angeles.
That place.
Yeah, that place. Anyway, due to NASCAR Mexico's running right before the main event on Sunday, they're moving the heat races to Saturday. And the original plan was they weren't going to let fans or anybody in, which like when I first heard that, I was like, "There's no way," because the Clash is supposed to bring fans in, not. Well, I can't go watch it, so why would I go? You know what I mean?
Yeah. And like last year, they limited the people that could come in, but if you had a ticket to the Clash, like the main event, then you got to watch the heat races.
Yeah.
At least the people that bought tickets get a little extra perk of being able to watch. Because some of those drivers, that's going to be the only races they're part of. They're not going to make the main event. So
yeah,
your favorite driver may not be racing.
Yeah, right. And at the same point,
My favorite driver won't be racing.
No, mine won't either. Well, one of them might, but
yeah,
my main favorite won't.
yeah.
But anyway, so they got a lot of backlash from that, and they eventually changed it to where not only if you have a ticket you can watch heat races, but even if you don't, as long as they have seats, you can come in and watch the race.
Yeah.
That's on Saturday, and then on Sunday you're gonna have NASCAR Mexico running a circuit, and then you're gonna have the main event.
We got the last chance qualifier. I think is on Sunday too. After.
I thought they were running that on Saturday as well.
Well, I know the heats are on Saturday, but I want to say they were doing the Mexico race, and then doing the last chance qualifier, and then the main event on Sunday.
Okay.
The structure is also going to be different. Last year they had 27 racers that made the main event. You only got 23 this year.
Yeah, I was about to say they've shortened it. Which, I mean, I understand it's only a quarter-mile track.
Yeah.
But I think it is cool that they're opening the heat races to anybody.
Yeah, I could see a double-edged sword with making it just free for everybody. The part that I don't like about that is you're just gonna have some people that just, I mean, you're gonna get at least a few fans from it, I think, but I think there's gonna, I mean, they're probably gonna have good security and stuff there, so it may not be an issue, but I could see just some bad crap happening.
I mean, especially, you gotta look at it like this: they're trying to get new people in, and I understand what they're doing. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But if they don't have blend, you can kind of get the gist that they don't really like the Clash anyway. It's just and I agree, the Clash is not my favorite, but I get why there's a need for it. Because if they like the Clash, and they're going to come in and say, well, this sport's not too bad, so we'll start going to races, and then they become a fan.
Yeah, I can see that.
I'm not trying to discredit NASCAR's thought there, but you were talking about Eric Estep, whatever his name is. I'm sorry. Estep. Like I said, dude, I can't read and I don't have words. He was right in saying, like, it feels like this year, NASCAR's contract's up, and it feels like this year was an afterthought. So this is very much possibly the last year, at least at the Coliseum. The Busch Clash has been around forever. I mean, look, it was at Daytona for a long time. Mm-hmm. I would love to see it go back to a track that's been there, not just a look. And I'm not saying this is the end of the Coliseum. They could write a contract tomorrow. I mean, I'm just a dude behind a computer.
Right.
But
What I would like to see is like bringing back a historic track like Rockingham or something like
I was about
that.
to say,
That would be
if
awesome.
they could bring back like Rockingham, like they did North Wilkesboro.
Yeah.
Because
That's where the All-Star race is going to be at again.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. It just brings back like another piece of history. Either that or like if there was some way that they could run Daytona like they did that they used to, have that back stretch on the beach.
Mhm.
That would be. I don't see it happening.
That'd take a lot more to pull off.
Either that or like if they ran instead of like I'm a nostalgic person. Take like your drivers that are still able to drive that have like retired. So like Jeff Gordon, Jimmy Johnson, Matt Kenseth, Tony Stewart, like some of your past day, like if Michael Waltrip was able to drive, just for even tune down the cars a little bit, not make them go 200 miles an hour, make it, but have them in like older style cars and just run like a Legends. You know how much I think they could sell tickets for? Like you have like Rusty Rudd, just like name off a couple of drivers, and then throw in some new ones. So that's what I liked about SRX. I don't know if you watched any of it, but they took dirt track heroes versus NASCAR Cup guys. I'm really sad that it got postponed.
2024 season's not going to happen. Yeah.
And that's what I'm kind of hoping IROC goes back into, because I feel like I don't know. I feel like it was a lot more better racing, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and everybody was even too. It was all the same car basically.
That and I don't know if you have people around you that were like fans like in the 90s and the 80s and all that. But I hear all the time, well, the cars are the same, so it's not good racing. No, I think that makes it even better racing because they have the same
Levels out the playing field.
Yeah, you don't have the leader that's 8 car lengths ahead of everybody just leaving them.
Well, I mean, that still happens sometimes.
Yeah, but it's
not as often.
I mean, you get what I'm saying? It's not like you've got one car lapping the field, and then all the other ones kind of been tagged. Another thing that I kind of would like to see come back, just for the nostalgic reasons, it's not safe, but I'd like to see tandem racing come back. But anyway, that's all I got for the Clash.
Yeah, well, it's gonna be fun to watch. You got the heat races on Saturday, you got the rest of it on Sunday, but 23 drivers, and I think the final spot is they're actually holding for whoever finished the highest in points last year that didn't qualify into the race.
Yeah.
So that's gonna be cool.
Who's the act for that one? MGK, wasn't it?
Yeah, he's doing like the mid race thing or whatever. I don't know how I feel about that.
I honestly wish they'd stick to like I don't even know. Not MGK. That's not how I see going to a NASCAR. Like we went to Kansas in 2022 and we seen Craig Morgan. That was a cool concert. But yeah, I think the Clash will be good. It'll be good racing. We'll see who comes out on top.
Sorry.
No, you
got approached to type in a switch password that I don't even remember what the heck it is in the middle of the podcast.
That's okay. I'm watching my dog tear up one of my Nutter's toys. Quit.
Oh, heck it was.
Uh-oh. He doesn't remember a password. That sounds like me.
I'm going to have to reset the password after this podcast. I don't.
Okay. Resetting the password, do you mean you can just get rid of it?
No, that's not how it works.
This thing that showed that it should have. You said it got rid of every password.
yeah, that's all I had for the Clash was they switched the thing around and MGK's running it. So
Ready to jump to the then and now.
yep.
We see this is gonna be maybe. Are we gonna do this weekly, or are we gonna do it every other week? How are we gonna do this segment? I know it's gonna be a regular occurrence for sure.
I figured we would do weekly, just one per race, because the way that we talked about running it, which you guys can comment and tell us how you like it. We're gonna choose one scheme from pre-2020, and then one scheme from like last week's race, which in this case we don't have last week's race, so we chose Phoenix, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Next week, like I said, we won't have another race, so we'll find one that was last season.
Yeah. Probably so. Alright, so let's.
And I mean, we could.
We're gonna throw
can
the
switch-
slide for that and switch over to
Yeah.
that. So
Let's go.
that's me. We're learning, yo. We're learning.
So my scheme for the then is, of course, Richard Petty's 1970 Plymouth Superbird. This sucker is like, if I had to pick a most iconic car in NASCAR, it would be this one, because everybody knows that's Richard Petty, Petty Blue, and it's Superbird.
Well, not only that, but if you're a Disney Pixar fan and you watch
Oh yeah,
covers,
it was the king. Yeah.
so even if you're not truly a NASCAR fan, you know this scheme.
Like I said, you don't even have to be a NASCAR fan to know this scheme. That's the reason I picked this one for then. I'm sure you guys tuned in and said the race Hale Presdale will probably be a Dale Earnhardt scheme. Nope, not yet. But yeah, it had 18 victories in the 1970 season. The reason that car was developed specifically for Richard Petty was because Petty was getting away from Plymouth.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to remember. Trying to remember why I didn't have that in my notes. Anyway, he was getting away.
I
from
think he was
Plymouth.
gonna jump to a different manufacturer. That's what was gonna happen. They didn't want him to.
Yeah, I want to say he was going to jump to Chevy, but they didn't want him to. So they said, well, we'll design you a car that is made specifically for you. So that's when they took the Plymouth Roadrunner and designed it specifically to be a race-ready car and became the Superbird. That's where the bird comes from. Superbird is because it was a Roadrunner. 1970, Petty scored 18 wins and 31 top 10 finishes. And what's even more insane is 1970 doing 193 and a half at Talladega and Daytona. That was an average.
And that's by himself.
Yeah, that wasn't like being drafted into it. No, that was his speed. And just to think, like 1970, you have like what is that, a 440? Like it's nuts how much horsepower that car had. In fact, it was so much nuts that NASCAR had to tell him he couldn't use Plymouth anymore. So that's why he didn't run it for the 71 season. And Plymouth is not in NASCAR.
I mean, if we had a driver nowadays that got 18 victories,
I think
there'd be something sketchy going on.
But yeah, that was my then scheme. So we can
tell you
jump
what,
over to now.
That is a pretty scheme.
Oh yeah.
I've even managed to somewhat mimic that scheme in Breakfast with the car that's available in there. Got it to Petty Blue.
Well,
It's nice.
every car game that has a Super Beat, I guarantee was made specifically for the Petty Blue. Most of them come like stock. Like when I was playing Forza Horizon, or was it Motorsport? I don't know. Anyway, I got one of those, and it come like Petty Blue. You know, any time that you see one of these, they're either Petty Blue or purple. There is no in between.
Yeah, and you know it, and you know it's petty. Like
Oh yeah.
it's literally that blue is rare, and it's called petty blue. Like,
Well, I think
he's
that's
got a car.
marked now.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's got a car built
Yeah.
for him. He's got a paint made for him. King. That's all I got to say.
Yeah. That was my then scheme for obvious reasons.
Excellent choice to kick it off. For my now scheme, like we mentioned, we went with the Phoenix Championship race from last season. Had to pull out Tyler Reddick's Star Wars scheme, the old TIE fighter. I mean,
Oh yeah.
this scheme here is just pretty. It's still got like your MJ vibes because you know Jordan's part owner of 2311, so gotta have that Air Jordan vibe, but just busting out.
This scheme definitely rivals the only other Star Wars scheme that comes to mind when you say Star Wars and NASCAR, which is, you know, the Jeff Gordon Episode 1 scheme.
Yeah.
But I love the like Sith vibe of that one. They did a really good job.
But even got a red lightsaber on the hood on the windshield
Yeah.
up there.
Yeah, it is really good. I didn't notice that till you just pointed that out. But yeah, that was a really good scheme.
That is a beautiful car there.
Oh yeah.
Now, like we mentioned, he ran it at the Phoenix. Started in P10, finished in 22nd, so not exactly a prime running of it, but it still looked good. I mean, there's no doubt about it. I imagine we're probably going to see, well, we may not see another Star Wars scheme anytime soon, just because, I mean, it's owned by Disney now, and it seems like they're going down a different route than what was originally planned for Star Wars, I think.
Well, you know, Disney got a new CEO. Well, they rehired the CEO that they fired like a few years ago. So they might go a different direction now. So who knows?
That's my my now scheme, which is from Phoenix. Didn't run well on track, but it did sure look sexy on track.
Yeah, that was a good scheme.
All right.
Well, now for our main event.
Yeah, we definitely we meant for this to be 30 minutes to an hour, but hey, we're having fun and we got people hanging out with us, so might as well keep it rolling. Maybe the future episodes will slim down because we won't have as much news to cover.
I was about to say, yeah, our episode, next week's episode will probably be a lot shorter because we had a whole bunch of news from like this last half season and then the off season.
You had the Hall of Fame stuff, the silly season stuff, the new sponsors, blah, 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 blah. Yeah.
Yeah. So definitely next week's should be a lot smaller.
Yeah. So main event is what we're going to next. What everybody came for. It's official. We're gonna put this out there. This is gonna be our jumping on the hype train of way too early playoff predictions.
All right, I got a suggestion. I don't know the real word that I'm looking for, but that's the closest one I can think of.
I don't know if I like this.
So why don't, after we unveil our free way too early playoff and the real playoffs hit, whoever's the closest, which I know we're pretty close, but whoever's the closest wins, but whoever loses has to do something. Now, I don't know what yet.
I don't know if I like this.
No, you can't get in on this.
Do we want to have our viewers come up with a punishment for the loser?
Heck no. Heck no. I was thinking like the loser has to buy a die cast for the winner.
You got plenty of time to save up for
Yeah.
$500 die cast you're gonna want me to buy you.
Oh no. I was talking like a 1/64th. Just make it
We could
not
probably
terrible.
handle that.
You could do
And
this
I mean,
1/64.
we could do that, or we could let the viewers choose a punishment within reason.
Yeah. It has to be legal.
Oh Lord, my wife's getting
Legal
mad.
and
She's
realistic.
gonna be legal, realistic, and non-harmful.
Yep. So, let me get to my notes on this part. Bam.
I was like, no, we do the fantasy, our phones.
We haven't even talked about that part. Honestly,
What's she trying to bring up?
she said we could either do that for this, or we could do a fantasy like we did last season, but just us and our
No.
viewers.
Yeah, we did not bring that up, but that is something that we did discuss and we would like to do. If our viewers here want to get into a NASCAR fantasy league for this upcoming season, let us know and we'll get one set up, and get viewers invited that want to jump in. And
Yeah, I'm gonna
we'll-
work.
we'll
on getting
have
a
some-
Discord server going and stuff too. So
we'll
can
have
all-
some sort of prize for whoever wins the fantasy league. We don't have that decided yet, but we'll come up with something. I'm
you might get
putting
a
him
shirt
on the
with our
spot for
beautiful
that.
Faces on it.
I'm putting him on the spot on that, but we'll come up with something for the winner.
No, because
It's gonna be me anyway. But
Oh, okay. Me and my wife talked about doing the same thing, but for the fantasy league, have our viewers go in a fantasy league, and whoever wins it gets something. But anyway, on with our main event.
yeah, so if you're interested in that, shoot us a message, leave a comment on the YouTube video, send us an email, reach out to us on Twitter, Instagram, or any of the other crazy ones. Yeah, main event. Let's get this thing
I
on.
like your little dance.
Was that his dad?
But all right, main event.
You have to
I'll
come
let you
live
go
to see the
choose.
dances. Just saying,
Yeah,
or subscribe to YouTube after.
every time Voodoo dances, you have to subscribe if you're not, or 10 years bad luck.
Right?
Is that what he said?
I like that one. All right, first pick. I'll let you go first.
Yeah, let me go first. But yours gets revealed first. Not that it
Okay,
matters
well,
because
then
they're the same.
Yeah.
I'll reveal both of them at the same time.
Okay. So my first pick, I got Byron as number 1. Only because 6 races last season is insane. Now you still got to work in, the new Fords and the new Toyotas, and a new bigger team. So that all weighs in. But at the same time, I think he is solid enough to at least get in the playoffs. Now these are not in order. We're not saying he's going to win the champion.
These are just the 16 that we
drivers
think.
that we think are
And
going to make the playoffs.
We like we mentioned, he got his list together, I got my list together, and we kind of compared them a little bit, and we did order them here, where like most of our drivers are the same as they pop up. Now, we don't have all 16 the same. I'm not going to say how many we got different right now. We're going to wait to find out. But we're going to reveal them in order, and the ones that are the same, we got revealing at the same time. So, I got to say, I got a feeling it's going to be real close on deciding who's going to be the winner.
Oh,
We could break even. Who knows? We might have to buy a diecast for each
yeah,
other.
we could.
But,
All right, you go ahead with the next one.
So, to add on to William Byron, the reason why I got him added, I mean, I got all the championship 4. I'm just going to say it now. I got all the championship 4 in my lineup. They got to the championship 4. I think they will at least get into the round of 16 next season. Next driver, we got old Chastain. Now, he didn't make the championship 4 this year, but he did the year previous. He had 2 wins last season.
He was still in the championship.
Not this past season.
He made it to the round of 16.
Yeah, that's not the championship. He made the playoffs. Didn't make
Oh,
championship.
that's what I meant. I'm sorry.
But he had an average finish of 15th last season. I think he can do better than that. I think it was kind of a fall off year for Trackhouse a little bit, but I think he's gonna bounce back. And 2 wins last season, even with the struggles that they had, I can easily see him doubling that probably this season coming up.
Definitely. Before you reveal the next one, well, first I have him just because of he's been a very, I guess, reliable driver. I would say he's pretty consistent, but I have him. One reason that I do like Chastain, I like following him, is of course, who can't like the Hale Melon? I mean, that
smashing that
move was
watermelon.
insane. No, I'm talking about like Martinsville.
Martinsville, yeah, which is now banned.
He just, I know, like the 2005 chase for the cup.
Yeah.
But for the next one, hang on, I gotta change this.
We're busting out the hat.
My other favorite driver. I got Chris Bell because he has made he made the final 4 twice. Now, last season his brakes gave out on the championship race due to no air, and I was literally so upset I almost didn't watch the whole race. I was so mad. I'm not gonna lie. I think he's a contender, especially if he can hold. I feel like if his pit crew could actually get on the ball and run better, I feel like he would do a lot better. I also feel like I don't know. Sometimes I feel like when he gets in the lead and stuff, he starts choking just a little bit. You know what I mean?
I don't know if I would say choking is the right word, but I can see what you're saying. He gets up front and then he's used to chasing down people to get up there, but once he gets up there,
I feel like
I don't think he's a good defensive driver.
Yeah. I feel like he needs to. He's a good pack driver, but he needs to learn how to be a good front driver, if that makes sense. As far as lead wise, because I feel like when he gets in the lead, he does really good until he gets away from the cars that are starting to push him, and when he does that, that's when bad things happen. It's almost like he gets like the nerves get to him, and he makes like stupid mistakes, like he'll clip a wall or stuff like that happens, and he gets sent back. Which, I mean, he gets decent finishes. He usually finishes if he doesn't wreck out, he usually finishes at least in the top 20. But that is my pick.
Yeah, I got Chris Bell. Like I mentioned before, I got all the championship 4 from last season in here, and like you mentioned, he's consistently been in the championship 4 2 seasons in a row. So why not make the playoffs for a 3rd year? I don't see that changing.
Also, he's an Oklahoma boy, so I gotta rep.
Nobody likes Oklahoma. All right, next up, he's got a ton of new sponsors coming in this season, and there's no way that I can make a playoff prediction list and not put this guy in there. Kyle Busch is getting into the playoffs.
And stuff like that.
He had 3 wins last season. He unfortunately got eliminated at the round of 12, but
I could see Kyle Busch coming back, especially because he is Richard Childers' saving grace.
Absolutely.
And he's getting all of the help. You know what I mean? And plus, it's Kyle Busch. I mean, don't get me wrong.
He's the anchor of that team, for sure.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong. I used to not really care for Kyle Busch. It's like you said, Bubba Wallace, he kind of acted like Bubba Wallace does now. But as he gets older and you can tell he's starting, it's like when he switched from Joe Gibbs to Richard Childers, he realized that he didn't have the paycheck that Joe Gibbs could give. So you have to play nice with the sponsors. You have to play. You know what I mean?
And
If
that's
that
the other
makes
thing with
sense.
JGR, I think, is they're too used to trying to get one sponsor to get all of the races.
Yeah.
And RCR is comfortable with breaking it up and having multiple sponsors.
That, and I don't know if you had seen the interview that he did, and he was talking about how Joe Gibbs was going to sponsor him out of his own
Yeah,
pocket.
yeah. I remember him saying that he didn't want
But at the same
Joe
time,
Gibbs
I
to
feel like
put
that
money into it.
was a tactic to get his grandson Ty Gibbs into that seat. You know what I mean?
I could see that too, because his probably a lot less of a paycheck he's got to pay out there.
Yeah. But as far as that, I would almost say Bush is definitely making at least a round of 12.
I see him
I
going.
see
I'm seeing him going further than that. I don't know if I
Well-
got him in the championship for, but
Well, I would say that.
he's for sure getting to the round of 8. I would think.
See, that's where I was gonna put him, but I was like extra comfortable with a round of 12. You know what I mean? Just because I don't know what's gonna happen. He could get wrecked out half of his. You don't know, because I mean,
True.
look at how he did in Chicago. He was, you know what I mean? He wasn't very happy in Chicago.
Yeah.
So that's the only reason I wouldn't put him in the round of 8 just yet. But he'd be up there on my list.
Who you got next?
Oh, I have got Larson. Just because, like I said earlier, you could put him in anything and he will drive it.
Absolutely. I mean,
Yeah.
once again, championship 4. He's been pretty solid for several seasons since he's been back off of that little mishap he had.
Yeah.
I don't see his steam running out this season.
I see Larson almost like I see like a younger Jimmy Johnson in the fact that, you know, he doesn't really cause a lot of fuss. He seems like a really nice
Not
person.
anymore.
And yeah. But you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
He's a really good driver. I was surprised to see him not in the championship 4.
And that was interesting to see him not get there for sure.
But anyway, excuse me, sir. Do you have to squeak that now?
Perfect time. Next up,
Bandit.
I don't know how. I mean, well, he had some injuries last season, which is what prevented him from getting in this past
There's a
season.
puppy break.
But look at that cute little puppy.
Huge.
Sorry,
Okay.
viewers, it is not up for adoption.
Nope.
But yeah, so this guy got no wins, did not make the playoffs last season, had an average finish of 13.1. There were people that had average finishes worse than that got into the playoffs. Just saying. There's no way
Yeah, but
that Chase Elliott is going another season without making the playoffs. That's all I'm saying. He's getting in this season.
I have him on my list as well. But at that point, I'm like, man, I don't know, because I'm not an Elliott fan. He's kind of in the same segment with me as Junior was. He's riding off his dad's coattails. Can he drive? He has some good points. You know what I mean? I'm not saying he's completely talentless. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm just saying that you get some advantages that other drivers didn't have. And I think he took those advantages. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not calling him the worst driver ever. I have him on there for a reason. He's just not my higher picks.
Yeah,
He
I
seems
don't.
like
He's not
most
getting
of
to
the
the
time he's got
championship 4.
No, unless he grows up a little bit, which that's a big thing. Like, he seems like he has a really bad attitude.
If Kyle Busch can do it, anybody can do it.
Yeah, that ain't no lie. To me, he reminds me of like a Denny Hamlin. And I think that's why they get into it quite a bit.
Yeah, I could see that. I could see that for sure. Who
But-
you got up next?
I have Jones, just because I think that Legacy is on a new chapter as far as, last season they didn't have the tier 1 help, and Jimmy come in kind of mid-season, so that you had all that change going on. You had a bunch of other, just different things that were kind of pushing that team down. Eric, when he was running for Petty GMS, he was a pretty solid driver, and I think all that team drama, well, not really drama, but all that busyness, I guess I would say, and change kind of affected their season. I mean, even the 42 before Gregson, before Gregson got taken off, even he was struggling, which, I mean, that could have been driver, but I think a lot of it had to do with the machines that they were given. They weren't given any help. There was a lot going on. I think this year would be a Jones comeback year. I would put him definitely in the top 12, just because I think this year they're on a better foundation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, as far as the team itself, I think. Well, I don't want to get ahead of myself, so go ahead.
No, you're good. But unfortunately, so we had mentioned earlier that he had won the Darlington race, but that actually wasn't last season. That was 2022. Last
That's what
season,
I
he
was
didn't
thinking.
have any wins. He finished 27th in points. But
Yeah.
it was Chevy ditching Legacy, basically just giving them the information they needed to get by. Now they're switching to Toyota. They're going to be top tier, getting all the information. And you got Matt Kenseth on board now.
Yeah.
John Hunter Nemechek is sitting in his teammate spot. So I think all around Legacy is going to be much, much better than what it has been.
That, and you look at like the sponsors that they had last year. I mean, they didn't really have any major sponsors. This year they do. Like, so they've got better funding, better equipment, better information. The only thing that will hold them back is them. And I think Eric Jones, I think at the end of the season you could tell he was very frustrated. And I mean, you got Johnson, who's the first time owner, which I'm not saying anything bad. I think he's doing a good job so far from what we can see on the outside. But, you've got all these things that are playing into effect that he's still trying to figure out what he's doing as far as Johnson. Jones is kind of caught in the middle of it. His teammate was ripped away from him. Now he's got a bunch of rookie teammates that this is their first cup time, and they're in the middle of a season when everybody else is already kind of settled.
Mm-hmm.
So I get where he was frustrated, and I believe that if there is ever a season to come back to, it would be this one.
I think
Just
Legacy all around is going to be amazing. Like, they may not, they're definitely not going to be at their full potential yet, but they're going to be so much better than last year. It's going to be insane, and I'm looking forward to it.
I'm going to say this, but it's almost impossible not to be better than what they were. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. What was it, 27th and like 33rd or something like that?
Yeah, it was ridiculous. They were literally in the bottom part of even some teams that had, like, I'm going to say this and not trying to down their teams, but you'll understand what I'm saying. Like a B-rate charter were above them. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Or some drivers that didn't even run a full season.
Yeah.
But that is my pick for Jones.
Next up, I know I said I didn't like Fords, but I'm throwing a Ford in there. You can't really deny that it's a decent racer.
I've got a couple.
But Logano gonna get in. He only had one win. Got eliminated after round 16, but he was in the playoff.
Yeah, but he come in. I don't know. I think Logano just had an off year. He was coming off of his championship and kind of got cocky.
Yeah, and that seems to be the case, except for Jimmy, because he's the GOAT. Is
right.
when you win a championship, you kind of fall off the next season.
Mm.
Jimmy overcame that. Not everybody can be the GOAT. the same.
Right? Not biased at all, I promise.
I got Joey getting in there, and I could see him. I could see him going farther than the round 16.
Yeah. I kind of picked him for the same reasons. I just think he kind of got a little bit cocky last season coming off his championship. That and let's be honest, Joey just had some bad luck because like it feels like every time I turned around, his car something was wrong with his car, and or he'd get wrecked out or something. He'd get like caught up in a accident. It's just stuff like that.
Now,
So-
I know viewers and listeners, are thinking, "Oh gosh, they just got the same exact list going on."
No, we
See,
have
there are some differences. There's not many, but there are some, and we did not work together on these lists at all. We came up with them separately. We just reordered them to, well, I went off of his order to kind of keep it even while we were talking about the driver, so it didn't take as long to get through the list for y'all. But we also didn't
because
expect
we're already
to be
like
here 2 hours
two
later.
and a half hours in.
But
So,
it's all good. It's all good.
but
Who you got up
so
next?
next, I've got the regular season champion. Got Martin Truex.
Absolutely.
And reason I picked him, I could see him going into, if he races like he did last season, I could see him going into the at least the 8. I want to pick him for the 4 this time, but I'm gonna say 8. Just
That's
because
where he got eliminated that last year.
yeah, just because they have a new Toyota teammate that has a pretty solid lineup. Of course, he's still racing for Joe Gibbs, so he's like the top Toyota team, so he's getting all the help that he can get. And let's be honest, he is overdue for a championship. The last championship he got was what, 2017? Is that right?
It's been a while.
So that, and I mean, let's be honest, he's in his later career. Like,
I could see
he's
him
talking about
announcing
not even coming back
retirement
this
within
season.
the next couple of years.
Yeah. So, well, he was talking
I
about
thought he was going to do it this year. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think, honestly, if he gets a championship, at least in the championship 4 this year, I could see us getting at least one more year of Truex. But that's why I picked him.
Well, you bring up a JGR guy. There's another JGR guy we mentioned earlier. Why not toss a third one in the ring? Go with Denny Hamlin. Got 3 wins. He was in the round of 8. And he actually had a higher average finish than Truex. He had an average finish of 12.4. Truex only had 13.3.
He's a good driver, but I don't necessarily care for some of his comments and stuff.
Especially recently. He's gotten bad recently. He's kind of owning that bad guy persona, which, if you think about it,
But
he really didn't start. Yeah. He didn't really start embracing that persona until Kyle left. I think he's trying to fill Kyle's shoes on that.
I was about to say, that's the way I felt, because Denny, to me, felt like a older, or like a, in his earlier seasons, he felt like a nicer, kind of out of the way. I would almost say like Chris Bell. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not really wanting to get in too much trouble and stuff. But when Kyle left, I think JGR needed a role to be filled as far as like theatrics. Because I mean, let's be honest, more theatrics you get, the more tickets you sell. The more tickets you sell, the more money you get. It's a sport. You know what I mean? NFL does it, NBL does it, or MLB does it. Not NBL. NBA does it. Every sport does it. I think that's what his problem is. I think, well, not problem, but his angle is, I guess what I'd say. But I do have him on my list just because he is a good driver. He's a seasoned driver. And I wouldn't put him in the championship 4 just because I don't want to give up that Denny Hamlin has no championship memes.
Denny Hamlin will never win a championship. He's not capable.
If he does, that will be the day that I cry.
Yeah, definitely see him
Anyway.
getting back in.
Yeah.
Who you got next?
This next one, me and you differ.
Ah, see, I told you not the whole list was the same
Yeah.
people.
I have Chase Briscoe as my next one because I feel like, honestly, this is one of those that I was like, I think he has the talent. I am a little worried about Stuart Haas just because, they lost some of their bigger
Whole bunch
sponsors.
of
They
young
lost
guys now.
Kevin. Yeah, but he is the more he's the driver that's been there the longest. So I think they're really going to push him a
Crazy
little
to
bit
say
harder.
that too.
I know he
He's
hasn't
so-
even
he's
been
so
there that
young.
long. But I think that they're going to take all the resources that Kevin had and give it to him. I mean, it was honestly a toss up between him and Priest. Honestly, but I feel like him being there longer, he's kind of more stable as far as finish positions.
Mhm.
That's why I went with Briscoe. Who you got?
Not Briscoe, I can tell you that much. And no, Briscoe is not on my list somewhere further down because these aren't in order of the order I think they're going to finish the playoffs in. But I can't deny access. RFK was on fire last season, and I don't see that fire
Mhm.
getting put out. So old Keselowski is getting in, baby.
Speaking of fires,
He may not have won
his,
last season, but he's going to win this season.
speaking of fires, his little donut on the red flag cracked me up. And I really hope King's Hawaiian sponsors Keselowski again because those were some of the top tier
Yes,
schemes.
those are amazing schemes. I agree. And the little bread rolls of that brand are freaking delicious too. So
Not
to put it in
sponsored, but would like
perspective,
to be.
right? I will eat your rolls for days. That could be taken out of context. But yeah, his average finish is 14.4, which is actually higher than several of the drivers on my list.
Oh. Okay.
Even though he had no wins last season, still. I mean, yeah. I just
he
can't.
was only a part-time, wasn't he? Or was he full?
He was full time, but he never
I
won a
mean,
race.
Okay.
He had a lot of struggles, but he made it in. He got eliminated round of 12.
Come back.
I think he'll at least get back to the round of 12.
Oh yeah.
Next
All
up, who you got?
Tyler Reddick.
Back to
I've got
back to samesies.
just for a little bit. I promise. We didn't have just one different. I promise.
No.
I don't know. I put Reddick in here just because he's last season he seemed to be doing a little bit better than he was the season before with the 45 crew. I just feel like he would probably make it, and I don't feel like he'd make it past. I don't feel like he'd make it past 16, but I could be surprised. But he's on my list. I didn't really have a whole lot of.
He had 2 wins last season, so I mean, if he even only gets half of that, he's in the playoffs. He managed to squeeze all the way out to the round of 8. I don't see him going that far again. I just think there's too much talent out there for him to get that far.
Especially with some of the rookies out there.
I think we're gonna see at least one rookie's gonna make the playoffs. I think.
Oh yeah.
Hopefully it's the one that's on my list.
This is where we differ.
But yeah, I don't think he's gonna get back. I could see him maybe. No. I got him getting to the round of 16, but I don't got him moving on to the round of 12.
You don't have a rookie on your list.
I guess technically not. I mean,
No, but okay.
He only had a partial season.
We'll
We'll get there.
get to him. Okay, your turn.
All right. So as we mentioned before, I got all 4 of the championship 4 drivers in. We already said Byron. We already said Bell. We already said Larson. We're missing one. But Ryan Blaney. Come on. Can't deny he's going to get back in.
At least to the round of 8.
He's just too good of a driver right now to really discredit anything that he's got going on.
I mean, he was a champion.
Yeah. Defending champion. Now that's where
I need to order that car. That's what I need.
That's we got Skylar W1678 redeeming a stretch. I guess she realizes we've been talking forever and she says that we need a stretch.
She's probably saying, "Shut up."
Right. Give her that. Oh yeah, that felt good actually. A little pop going on.
Oh, that did feel good. Mine did too.
Appreciate that. Yeah. So Blaney definitely getting in. Getting back to the championship for maybe not.
I can see him in the 8.
Yeah. Big old stretch for sure. Yes, man. Welcome to the chat for your first time, by the way.
Welcome.
Appreciate you dropping in. I see you followed 3 hours ago, so that means you had privy knowledge to our podcast coming live, and you decided to follow beforehand. We appreciate that. Yeah, Blaney's in for sure. Who you got
Definitely.
next?
So the next is a driver that, especially like around the midpoint of the season, I started following like crazy. I might be wrong, but I want to say RFK.
Mm-hmm.
Is that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I started following him like crazy because I just ended up liking him. That's Busher. I
Yes,
feel
sir.
like, Chris Busher is definitely a contender this year. I don't think he made it last. No, he did, didn't he? At least
both RFK drivers made it. Yep. He actually Busher actually made it to round 8.
Okay, yeah. I feel like he, like you said, RFK's on fire. Now, I don't think, unlike you, I don't think Keselowski's gonna push it in because Keselowski's an owner. I think if anything, he's gonna push Busher in to the, at least to win if they ever get the chance. Yeah, at the end of last season when he would start getting his like up in like the top 10s and top 20s, I started really taking a liking to him. I can't explain it. He's just a good driver, and you don't ever really hear anything about him until he like sneaks up behind, and ends up top 5.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I would almost put him on the round of 8.
Now, the other thing that we keep in mind, another reason why I added him on anyway, I mean, he had 3 wins last season. But
yeah,
aside from that, on my list, he is actually the person with the highest average finish.
Yeah.
He had a 12.1
And
average finish on my list.
And I feel like NASCAR never really talks about him. You know what I mean? It's always like Larson or
Under the
Elliott
radar.
or Byron. Yeah.
Now
If
that
he
might
had a
change
nickname,
this season.
He could be nicknamed the Ninja.
that could change this season though, because you got so many more new guys rolling in. He might finally get some recognition going on.
It could.
I definitely see both RFK drivers back in.
Definitely.
All right.
So the next 2 we have are different.
Yeah. And keep this in mind, like, these lists are hard to come up with. Like, probably 7 to 10 drivers, for sure are gonna make the playoffs. But after that, it's kind of like you're throwing darts at a dartboard.
And you're like,
I like that one, but what about this one? Yeah. So my last 2, I kind of went out for who I would like to see in the playoffs. So this might bite me in the butt in the end. I might have to wind up buying a diecast. But
so before you reveal them, the last one that you have picked on our list, I was so close to putting him on there just because I followed him when he first hit the scene. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I thought, from well, you can go ahead.
I'm not gonna spoil it, but I mentioned earlier the reason why, and I will go back into it
Yeah.
when he is revealed. But
Yeah.
let's go in order. Let's go in order.
Okay.
Who's your first different driver down here at the bottom? Not
I've
that
got
it's
Cindric.
last.
Yeah. I've got Cindric just because, he took a 500, and I feel like, I don't know, I feel like he could definitely make playoffs. That's the one that might bite me. I'm sorry, I have a, like,
That's your
stuck in my throat.
That's my last reveal is what you're doing now. I got it. But really, both of mine are in the same boat. Now, this guy has technically made playoffs before, and I feel like last season was horrendous for him. He had an average finish of 17.2 and finished 20th in points. Had absolutely
Negative.
a goose egg for wins. But
Negative.
I feel like he's gonna bounce back this season. I'm putting Bowman in. I'm putting Bowman in.
I see him after finishing his contract possibly getting the boot. Just because he hasn't been the same since he broke his spine. And
Well,
I mean, I get it. The trauma will mess with you. Look at Kurt Busch, it. But I don't know.
both
He
my
just
last
hasn't been the
picks
same
might bite me
driver.
in the
He's
butt.
a lot more. Yeah. Same with mine. Don't worry.
I think he's in. I don't think he makes it past round of 16, but I think he's in.
Don't get me wrong. Just for nostalgia reasons, I would love to see the 48 in, but I don't see it happening. Just because he is not the same driver as he was when he got injured.
You know what I would love to see is in
An
2025.
84.
In 2025, the 84 running a full season and him making it to another 8th championship. You know what I'm saying? Break the record.
That would be sick. Not only would he be the only 7-time winner that had 5 championships in a row, he'd be an 8-time winner with 5 championships in a row.
He'd be the only driver with 8 championship wins.
Oh yeah, that would be awesome.
Chances of that happening
Yeah.
probably as much as me winning the lottery tonight. So.
I think even if he made like championships, I think NASCAR would take it from him just because they like their 777 winners.
Before we get into these last guys, you got any close calls that you were gonna throw in there that maybe you didn't?
I don't want to give one. I don't want to give one away. The one that I was really close to putting on is your last one. That's all I'm gonna say on that one.
I'm not gonna lie, your last one I was real close to adding.
I thought about putting Josh Berry in just because he's a pretty decent driver, with trucks, and he's a 2022 champion of trucks. And he did pretty decent when he was filling in last season. I think that was about the only two that I was really like, I don't know, should I do these? Should I do that one? What about you?
I was kind of throwing a dart at the dartboard there, looking at basically your top, I don't know, 5 or 6 playoff drivers that were on the list, and all the way down to maybe about 25th in points. I was kind of looking and been like, they might get in, they might not. I'm not feeling too confident with them, but there wasn't really anybody that stuck out a bunch. Like, I think Josh Berry's going to have a decent season, but I don't know if he's going to get in the playoffs. Had some playoff drivers that I almost put back in there. Like, I was going to consider putting Bubba back on. Like, he did decent last season. I figured he might make the playoffs again, but I was like, I don't know, because he's kind of inconsistent and blah, blah, blah. But I couldn't really settle down.
That's the reason
on who I wanted. But.
And I'm not gonna lie, I tried to make this list as unbiased as possible. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, just off of their performance and what I think they could do. But that is a lot harder said than done. Because, like, you look at a driver and you're like, I don't like that driver. So it's like a click in your mind, like, oh, they automatically drive bad. But you go look at they're not that bad. But I don't know. Like, that's a problem that I had with some of the drivers, like Bubba, where I was thinking, so I'm not gonna put him on there. Well, I don't know. The thing that did not the reason I did Bubba is just because it's inconsistency. That and he's a very emotional driver. I mean, like if he feels like he got messed up, then he's gonna go look at what he did to Elliott.
Yep.
But yeah, that was one that I wasn't gonna. Well, okay, so before we unveil the last one, what was the one driver that you thought automatically is not going in there for whatever reason?
Oh. Who do I have?
I have two.
You know, I don't know if I really ever put anybody down that wouldn't make it for sure.
I have two that I said they're not going to make it. Which one? I don't even know if he's running this season. I haven't heard anything about it.
That would probably help him not make the playoffs if he didn't run.
Definitely. So my one that I was like is never going to make it is McLeod. I don't even know if BJ's running.
I haven't heard anything about him running, you know.
But like every race last season,
I'll tell you
he was
what.
like dead last all the time.
I know who's not going to make the playoffs that made it last season. McDowell.
Who's that? Oh yeah?
I don't think he's getting back in. He's for sure not getting back in.
My other one is Austin Dillon. I don't see him making it.
Yeah, I didn't even consider him on my list at all.
Yeah. I'm gonna say this, and I know he's like Richard Childers' grandson and all that, but I honestly think that he does not have the talent needed to run a consistent race car. Like he's getting top quality stuff, but still can't. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not saying he's a mid-pack driver is what I'll say. He's not way in the back, but he's not up in the front either.
Yeah, he's not just a placeholder, but he's not a.
Yeah.
He's a pawn. He's not a.
Exactly.
Yeah. I get where you're coming from with that.
Those are the two that I would not put in.
All right, big reveal time. Final picks.
This one's probably gonna bite me in the butt.
Remember, come week 26 after that race, that next podcast is we gotta see who's in the playoffs and compare to our lists.
All right, I got the prize for me and you on this part. Whoever loses has to buy a Johnson scheme from 2024 for the other person in 1/64.
I can do that.
Okay.
I can do that.
Does that sound good?
Yeah. It might hurt
Right.
buying it for somebody else, but
Who knows?
might have to
buy
do
a
two.
cheap one. But
nah. Who you got for your last
we
one?
had that up on the thing. So I know it's a big leap, but I've got a rookie for my last one. I've got John Hunter Nemechek. Just because he's kind of a blank canvas when it comes to Cup, and he's got Matt Kenseth and Jimmy Johnson and all them, not including Eric Jones, helping him. I think that he's going to at least make playoffs this season. Hopefully, I'm not going to be bold enough to say he's going to make to the 12 or the 8 or all that because we don't know how he's going to be in this Cup car. Again, this could bite me, especially compared to your last one, because I know your last one. But, yeah. So I've got him. I think he's going to be a good match for the 42. I just hope that.
I'm looking forward to it. I was close to putting him on the list. I was close. Not gonna lie.
Alright, who you got?
So, I went into the spiel earlier. Larson pulled it off. He got
I seen that.
suspended for a little bit of time and then reinstated and then came back to a better team. Well, I mean, it's not technically a better team because Legacy's the best team now. But,
Well, he was connected for a minute.
yeah, but he's not going to Legacy now. He's going to a different team, so he's not going to the better team. But throwing Noah Gragson in. Stuart
Yeah.
Haas Stuart Haas was struggling last season. I think they're gonna have a bounce back season. They're not gonna have a whole bunch of drivers in the playoffs like they're used to. When you got one going in on your list, I don't got him on my list, but I got a different Stuart Haas driver in Gregson going in. I think Stuart Haas does manage to get one car into the playoff, and I think that Gregson is going to have a fire lit under his butt. I'm gonna try not to keep cuss words on here so we can have family friendly. But
Yeah.
Gregson has got a fire lit under his butt to race his behind off, and I think he's gonna manage to squeeze into the playoff.
Yeah.
And that is my sole reason for picking him, is I think it's gonna be a Larson situation where he bounces back amazingly.
I definitely agree. Like I said, he was the one that I almost put on my list. The only reason I didn't is because I feel like Stuart Haas is losing a lot of sponsors. And that comes to question, was it because of Gregson that they're losing him? Just because of like the reaction with NASCAR and everything. Yeah. So that makes me question, how, and I will say out of the quote unquote rookies this year, he has the most experience, you know what I mean? In a cup car. But at the same time, he's racing a Ford instead of a Chevy this time. So it's kind of up in the air what will happen. I almost did put him on there for that reason. But at the same time, I didn't, solely because, one, I think Nemechek is more of a blank canvas. He can be molded a little bit more versus, Greg's coming off and say, well, at Legacy we did this, and at Legacy we did that. And you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Not that he's going to mean to, but at the same time, I don't know. I just feel like Gregson wasn't a safe case to bet on as far as playoffs, which, I mean, he didn't have the best season with Legacy last season. And it could be, it could either be the car or it could be the driver. You don't know as far as us watching. But that is our picks for our way too early playoff picks.
Come back after week 26 to find out who has to buy each other.
I'm sure I will look at this and be like, what the heck was I thinking? Or, hey, who knows? We might look at it and say, dang, we got them 1 for 1.
Yeah, could be. And I mean, it's going to be close because, like, we only got 3 different drivers that are different on our list. So it's going to come down to the nitty-gritty.
It's definitely going to come down to, I think I can tell you what I think it's going to boil down to. Is it going to be Gregson or Nemechek that's going to get us over? Or is it going to be
Briscoe and Keselowski?
Or Briscoe, yeah. I think it's going to be...
Bowman might hurt me, but we'll see.
I don't know. I think Bowman's more of your safe bet. As far as that. I don't know. We're going to see, I guess.
Yeah.
But...
Anything else we need to go over before we cut this thing off? Because we're easily about 200% longer than we said we were going to be tonight.
Yeah, that's another thing. Next week's will not be this long. I promise.
The target, and we were hoping for this one to be about that length, but our target was between 30 minutes and an hour.
No.
Obviously, we overshot that a little bit, but
yeah, just a little bit.
Next week we're gonna have our then and now segment, and we're gonna have news, but it's all gonna really be from today to next Monday rather than the entire off season that we had to catch up with. It's not gonna nearly be as long.
Yeah.
May have some special
Also,
guests of spouses and children joining us.
At birthday times.
But
Also,
that's
my
what we're doing,
wife
is just keeping it
handed me
catching
her
up.
list. Yeah, my wife handed me her list.
Oh snap!
Her predictions. We can go over next week because I have to use the bathroom.
All right. With that being said,
With that being said, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Next week we will be doing this every Monday at 7:30 Central Time. As far as Twitch, the podcast will be put on YouTube and then at least Spotify that I know of. I'm sure I can get it to Apple Music and all that like I did before, but things are a little bit different, so we will see.
This first week or two might be a little bit hiccup getting out on time, but
yeah, it'll be a little bump and go. So.
Well, we're here to learn. But the whole point of this podcast here is not just to like shove a whole bunch of information down your throat. We're here to kind of like just have a casual atmosphere and talk NASCAR. I mean, I was talking to my coworkers today about doing the podcast. And I was like, maybe. I mean, we should have done it tonight since we went so doggone long. But maybe it could be like, hey, we're sitting here and just drinking some beer together and talking NASCAR. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
But maybe if get one of them Busch Lights or something to sponsor the stream, we might be able to pull it off. Well, yeah.
Or
so.
if Busch Light decides to send us a couple specialty cans of Chastain,
yeah,
we might
that'd be nice
drink
too.
those on stream. Keep the cans later.
Yeah. we're open. So that's what we're saying.
My wife said if we get sponsored with Hawaiian rolls, they're hers.
Absolutely not. I'm getting at least half of them.
He said he gets at least half. But
that's the other thing is we're pulling this off. He's in the nowhere land of Oklahoma, and I'm in the nowhere land of Mississippi. We're not right next door doing this, but still felt that way.
Oh yeah. Also, one thing that I do want to encourage before this ends, and I know we're kind of dragging on, but if you guys want to like join in, we will definitely read your chats and stuff. Because I mean, it is a live stream on Twitch. I mean, if you're watching on YouTube, we will definitely read the comments. But if you have any questions or suggestions, you can either hit us in the comments of any of the places you see us, or we also have a Twitter and an Instagram, and eventually we will get a TikTok.
Yes.
But we the goal is just to build a community of people that like racing. We even plan on. We talked a little bit about doing this on the off season, just kind of talking about maybe some of the news that dropped, or looking back at some of the older races, maybe going back through history, stuff like that. If you guys tuned into the podcast before we even jumped over, like in the 2022 season, I talked about wanting to do like a podcast just talking about the 777 or the Three Kings of NASCAR, or just the 1979 Daytona 500, stuff like that. I think it'll definitely be a lot of fun. You guys just stick around. Like I said, we're not trying to dump a whole bunch of information on you. That's not what this is about. It's just a bunch of fans that love the sport, wanting to talk and say, "Oh man, did you guys see this scheme?" That's if you guys want to pull into the comments with like different things like that, we will do our best to get to it. And just like I said, we want to build a community. So.
And another thing, this isn't directly related to the podcast here, but we are gonna have other things going on Twitch.
Yep.
For example, once the season starts up, we're gonna try and do it every race day. Is during the race we're gonna have a live Twitch going to where we can just talk about the race the whole time. Like, oh crap, look at that! He spun around and blah blah blah. Just sit there, hang out, talk about the race, and whatever else comes up while we're talking about it, hang out and have some fun. And obviously that'll be either Saturday nights or Sundays when there's a race on. Now,
and then
we're not gonna have
Wednesdays. I was gonna say on Wednesdays, Voodoo, you stream the Heat League. So we run a NASCAR Heat League. Right now it's off season. This is the 5th season he's done it. I come around at the very tail end of the 3rd season. So I haven't been around that long, but I've been around long enough. But if you guys wanted to watch that, you know, we just race around, have a good time, talk to some other guys, which, who knows, we might be able to get them on at one point. Who knows? But,
Now,
so yeah.
the watch party thing for the races, we're going to try and do every week, but the week of Nashville, it will not be, because we will be in the stands.
We will, yeah, we will be in the stands. I already talked to Voodoo. We are probably going to make a couple smaller videos we're going to post to YouTube. Just, you know, showing that we were there, had a good time.
Yeah, we'll probably throw that
Yeah.
up on the podcast channel.
Yeah, we'll throw that on the podcast channel. You know, we're going to try to post pictures on our stuff. Hopefully we have a TikTok done by then, so we'll see. And Discord. So this week I'm going to try to set up a Discord server just specifically for the podcast. So if you guys want to check out the Twitter and the Instagram, I will be posting that at some point this week. If you want to just pop in, say hi, you know, start a conversation, that would be great.
Absolutely. So with that being said, we don't want to drag you on too much farther, but we got a lot of stuff coming.
Oh yeah.
As news flows in, races come, we're gonna have a lot more going on, and once again, we apologize for the length of this first episode of 2024, but there was a lot of stuff to unpack, and
Oh yeah. Especially since technically the last episode of Race Hale Praisdale was the very first race of the 2023 season.
yeah, so it's been a little bit, but we're gonna do better. I know. He said he's coming back around, but I'm gonna hold him to it this time. Get a little
I actually have
accountability partner.
Yeah, I was about to say I have somebody counting on me to actually do it, so I will do it more, and it's not just me running everything. So,
With that being said, if you enjoyed the podcast here on Twitch, please drop a follow. You don't have to subscribe. We're not worried about getting money off of this. We're just hanging around, having a good old time. But if you could drop a follow, that'd be awesome. If you're on YouTube, please go ahead and
drop a
subscribe to us.
subscribe.
Like the video, absolutely. And then if you're up to it, go follow us on Twitter, Instagram. We don't
That's all we
have
got right
TikTok yet. We don't have anything on Facebook. But yeah, we really enjoyed it. Had a good time, and I mean, really, 2.5 hours in now, and we really didn't come across any points to where we weren't bouncing off each other and just talking about stuff.
Yeah. It's definitely been a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to possibly having like more people in, like whether that be in the comments or like videoing with us. I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to the season.
Absolutely. So with that being said, we enjoyed your company, and we hope that y'all come out next week. Join us live on Twitch while we're doing it. If not, the current plan is to get the video on YouTube and the podcast out on Wednesdays, so that you can hear the episode of the week.
Definitely deadline by Wednesday, as far as the podcast. Or not the
YouTube.
podcast, Spotify.
Yeah.
And YouTube.
Well, YouTube will be easy, because once I hop off here, I'm gonna start to download the VOD. So
Yeah.
we're gonna keep it raw on YouTube. We're not gonna edit it down and strip out anything. It's just gonna be
It's gonna be raw, period.
yeah. It's gonna be
all
what we
we're gonna
got
do is
here.
take the audio file from this VOD.
Yeah. So we will gladly take your
Advice.
constructive criticism.
Yeah.
But if you just want to drop some hate, we won't pay attention to that. But we know this is kind of a unfiltered podcast, and we're looking at ways to make it better and make it more entertaining for y'all. So just let us know what you want to
Makes
see.
it more fun when it's unfiltered.
Absolutely. So with that being said, there might be some times when we got loud noises going on in the background, and I mean,
Yeah.
he's a family man. I'm a family man. It's part of life. We're gonna do our best to keep it quiet for you all in the background, but
Keep it down to the minimum.
may not always happen. Luckily, it wasn't too bad today. So we had
Oh yeah.
maybe just a few minutes over the 5 hours that we've been on so far.
All right, guys. Like I said, thank you so much. I think we're gonna go ahead and close it here.
Absolutely. I'm gonna go ahead and drop the intro again, and then we'll catch y'all next time.